What's good, YouTube? There's loads of speculation and debate in the Palantir community at the moment as to whether or not share buybacks are the best thing to do at the moment. As we know, Alex Karp and the team have announced that they will be unloading up to 1 billion into buying back their own shares. This hot take I have was inspired by Jeremy and Amit, so check out this clip first.
Let's talk about this bit. This is going to be a fun topic to discuss, which is buybacks. So that video you reacted to, Arnie, one of my good friends, it was really funny because he said we shouldn't do buybacks. He's like, the stock is too expensive. There shouldn't be buybacks. And then in your reaction, you were like, actually, no, I think buybacks is pretty good. It's less dilution. It helps shareholders. I think they should do it. And then Arnie was just like, this is dumb. We should not do buybacks. And Palantir comes out on earnings day. It's like, we're doing $1 billion worth of buybacks. And me and Arnie are laughing about it because Arnie's like, I told Jeremy basically he was wrong. We shouldn't do, but now the company's saying we're doing buybacks. And I think to Arnie's point, which I'm sure you'll agree with this to some extent, which is that buying back the stock at $20 when it's probably at a really rich valuation is just not the best thing to do with $1 billion in cash, because the company will be left holding the bag because your growth rate is only 13%. So we're not going to stay at $20 for a long time. In general, in your experience dealing with some of these companies and why they do buybacks and financial engineering, did you think that was a good move? And do you think these prices are attractive to buy back the stock?
Let's say you think Palantir is going to be a $50 stock someday, a $100 stock, a multi-$100 stock. If you think, really bullish, you should be applauding them for buying as many shares as they can possibly get their hands on at $15, right? If the stock's going where you think it's going over time, they're not going to be able to buy shares back this cheap, right? So you're better off the earlier you start when it comes to your buyback, if you really have the sort of company that's going to set up for a huge 5-10 year type run, right? So right now, I'm looking at it and it's like they're not doing too much with the money. Obviously, they're generating great returns right now from treasuries. That's phenomenal, right? Getting to make that easy money right now. But outside of that, you're going to have all this extra money. Why not go ahead and use it as a buyback right now?
I have a hot take, but it has 3 premises I want to go through first with you. Number 1 is that Palantir is planning to remain profitable. We've seen Alex Karp and the management talk about S&P inclusion. To do this, they need to remain profitable for 4 quarters in a row. And no doubt the company is planning to remain profitable from there going forward. This means they're generating enough revenue and profits to cover all potential new ventures or R&D or products they want to launch into the future. The second is that AIP is doing very well. AIP has only been launched for around 10 weeks. We have heard from management that there are over 5,000 people using the software, the product already. We've heard of 400 clients being interested in the product. So maybe this is the start of a new growth curve for the company. If we take into consideration that Palantir is going to remain profitable, therefore they've got surplus cash on their balance sheet, and the fact that AIP is a potential huge new growth curve ahead of them, then they need to figure out where to put the cash. The third premise to my hot take is that Palantir management are obligated to maximize shareholder value. If Palantir has this cash on the balance sheet that they know they're not going to use, and they can see on the inside that AIP is going very well, perhaps they're looking at a quarter which they've just done and achieved 12-13% revenue growth, thinking, hang on a minute, our stock's likely going to be suppressed after a quarter like this, but we can see we've got this enormous growth curve, this secular tailwind that we're going to be following for many years. Potentially, this is the cheapest our stock is ever gonna be again. Therefore, as a Palantir shareholder, I believe the correct thing to be doing, if you believe you're going to be profitable, which we can question whether or not Palantir is running out of ideas, and that's a bad thing in itself, but if the management expect to remain profitable moving forward, and they see this enormous growth vector ahead of them, which will undoubtedly be reflected in the stock price as time goes forward, potentially buying back shares now with cash they're never going to need is exactly what Palantir needs to be doing at the moment. Let me know if you enjoyed this sort of video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.